Hello, Chiefs Kingdom, and welcome back to RGR Football. I'm your host for this episode of Chief Concerns. My name is Danilo DiGiulio, aka ThunderDan88, across social media: Instagram, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook Gaming. You can find me on all those places, either Danilo DiGiulio or ThunderDan88. I'm here to talk to you guys about the chief concerns going into the off season, going into the preseason, as it were. We're going to pre-draft, we're pre-free agency, pre-everything. Post, we know what happened already. We don't need to get into that. But I want to start off today's first episode with a little bit of coverage on a linebacker out of Tulsa by the name of Zaven Collins. Zaven is exceptional. Zaven is a game-wrecking linebacker who is equally adept at rushing the quarterback as he is tackling the running back in the backfield, as he is covering tight ends and wide receivers and running backs out of the backfield and coming away with interceptions. He's an exceptional athlete. He's been likened to the next Brian Urlacher. At the very least, I think he's Fred Warner with a higher ceiling. Not saying a lot because I think a lot of Fred Warner, the linebacker out of San Francisco. This kid is 6'4", 260 pounds. At Tulsa, he studied exercise and sports science. So his degree was in how do I make myself a better athlete and keep myself healthy. These are key factors in going forward as a franchise and wanting to win a lot of titles and wanting guys to stay healthy, wanting guys to be available in the big game, which is a thing that really bit us this time around. The injuries were just a little too much. It did not help us out. The kid was a quarterback at high school. So he was a running quarterback. He rushed for, I'm looking at his stats, 4,084 yards, 54 touchdowns, and he passed for over 3,000 yards with 32 touchdowns. The kid could ball. He's a multi-sport athlete as well. He played basketball. His ball handling skills at the linebacker position are exceptional. So if you're thinking what I'm thinking, Jared Allen-esque, Mike Vrabel-esque, goal line, second tight end played by the linebacker, fade outs for touchdowns, he's capable of doing that. But in addition to that, he's capable of doing the same thing Travis Kelce does, which is coming occasionally at wildcat quarterback and running it properly, running the ball or throwing the ball, because he can throw the ball as well, but running the ball as a 6'4", 260 pound running back when he takes the ball and tucks it. This kid's he's got a lot of bases covered as far as special athlete. He's quick, he's fast. I think he's going to be around the 4.55 range. Brian Urlacher was 4.57. I think he's going to be right around there somewhere. I think he's probably going to end up being a 255 to 265 pound linebacker at the pro level, depending on the amount of muscle he adds on and how much fat he trims off. He's already a pretty lean guy to begin with, and he's very athletic. He's quick. He's got a good eye for the ball. Some would say he takes a little build up to get the speed, but he counters that, I believe, with his innate ability to read the play and read where it's going and be there early. So when other linebackers might be figuring out what's happening, he's already 2 steps into his break, and you see it on his game tape. And if he gets past you and you're facing the wrong way, you're not catching this kid from behind. He might not be 4.3, 4.4 speed, but this kid is fast. He's big. He's strong. He's athletic. What haven't we covered? Bronco Nagurski trophy winner. Chuck Bednarik trophy winner. Basically every way possible to be awarded the best defensive player in the country, he got it this past year. He had 6 interceptions in his college career. He had 3 forced fumbles and 3 fumble recoveries in his college career. He had high tackle numbers. He covers all the bases. And even though he played at a smaller school, Tulsa's not a big, huge Division I. Wow, this is the franchise at school we always watch to pump out. This is not Alabama. This is not Clemson. He was the best in the nation as a defensive player. Think about that. Not just linebacker. This kid's the best defensive player in the country. Now you're talking about all the D linemen and D tackles and D ends and edge rushers, whatever you see, corners, safeties across the nation. Think of your Alabamas. Think of your Clemsons. Think of your USCs. No, this kid won above all of those players. Now, as a Chiefs fan, we know we're picking late in the draft. We know we're second last in the first round. It's early in the process. Right now, all the draft simulators I have, 90% of the time, he's available at the bottom of the first round. 90% of the time, I can trade down 5 or 6 picks and still get Zaven Collins. Every once in a while, he goes around 26 or 28. I think you got like Cleveland and people down there that would grab. I think they would grab him. That said, Brian Urlacher was spoke about the same way late second, early third rounder. And as the draft process went along and people started looking at it going, oh, he's not really a tweener at all. Actually, he could play linebacker. Zaven played quarterback and safety primarily in high school and didn't really start playing linebacker full-time until he got to Tulsa. He played a bit of linebacker, but it was more box safety. So he can cover guys. He can hit people hard. He can strip the ball. He can pick the ball off. Brian Urlacher was looked at as a tweener, like I said, safety linebacker type. This kid, by the time the draft rolls around, is not going to be looked at that way either. They're both, he's already being compared to Urlacher. We know what Brian was. And if there's any Chief fan out there who could have got a Brian Urlacher in his prime, I'm sure all of us would jump on that right now. If we could even get Derek Johnson in his prime, we would love that. And Derek was a tier down, to be fair. To be honest, he was a tier down from Brian Urlacher in my eyes. Not a big tier, very small tier. But Brian he was a little more of a menacing force. I don't know. There was a slight grade for me. Brian Urlacher was a little bit better. Luke Kuechly was more of the Brian Urlacher status, but couldn't stay healthy. This kid's a healthy cat. This kid doesn't have injury history. He's strong. He's fast. He's intimidating. He's got great hands. There's no reason the Chiefs should pull this kid off the board immediately if one of the top 2 offensive tackles aren't there, and even if they are. Because I feel that there are between 7 to 10 offensive tackles that are going to play for 10 years in the pros. I think Zaven Collins, then Jabril Cox, then I think and Dylan, maybe, I can't remember his last name. Gosh, Alabama. We'll look it up because I'm going to be talking about him later. But the linebacker from Alabama, but he's coming off an injury. And after that, there's kind of a drop. There's a kid from North Carolina that's somewhere in that window. But Zaven Collins is a cat. He's in a private tier all by himself right now, as far as I'm concerned, as the best linebacker coming out in this draft and possibly the best defensive player in the college country right now that's about to turn pro and hopefully will become a Chief. That said, the last caveat I'll throw out there is felt the same way about Brian Urlacher, and by the time draft rolled around, he was drafted number 9 overall in the first round by the Chicago Bears. And the rest, as they say, is history. Here's hoping that somehow he slides, or maybe Brett Veach trades up to get this kid, because I think he would be a difference maker in the middle for years to come. With that said, this is your Chief Concern. I'm your host, Thunder Dan. Go Chiefs.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more and subscribe to RGR Football.